Never take an item from a stranger that you do not know. You never know what could be attached to it. The email that I got for tonight's True Scary Story is about just that, and it is terrifying, you guys. Tonight's submitter did want to remain anonymous, so we are going to call him Jay. So back in 2019, Jay had separated from his kid's mother, and he was a supervisor for a moving company. They were at a client's house loading up their belongings during the day when the woman of the house approaches him and tells him, can you please get rid of all the stuff in the spare bedroom? He then tells her, I can't make any promises because of the room that I have in the box truck, but I will try. So he gets every other room in the house except for that one done, and he goes in there at the end, and it's just a bed and a dresser. The dresser is filled with miscellaneous items, so he calls up the woman and he says, listen, I can take the dresser, I cannot take the bed, but the dresser is filled with items. She says, throw them all away. I don't want anything in that room. I want it all thrown out. If anyone sees anything that they want, they're more than welcome to it, but I want everything in that room gone. So him and his coworkers are cleaning out the drawers when he comes across a woman's Gucci watch. Now the watch didn't have any batteries, but being what it was, and since the woman did tell him that he could keep anything in the dresser, he put it in his bag. Now earlier in the day, he had been messaging back and forth from this woman that he knew from high school. They had both gone through really bad breakups, so she invited him over for dinner. So he agrees, he drives over there, and he helps cook her dinner. Well, as soon as they're done with dinner, her 12-year-old daughter comes home from school activities, and they sit down and they go to eat, and he notices something. He notices that the little girl has drawn on her wrist with an ink pen like a fake Gucci watch. So just like a circle, and then she wrote the words Gucci on her wrist. So he looks at her and he says, do you like that brand? And she says, of course I do. And he goes, well, I have something. And he goes in his bag and he grabs the watch and he puts it around her wrist and he says, you can keep this. It doesn't have batteries in it. Your mom will have to get you batteries, but look, now you have a nice watch. Little did he know that this small act of kindness would change his view on the paranormal forever and bring him closer to God as he knows him. Now they get done with dinner and he's never been a person to eat and run, so he always helps like wash dishes afterwards, but he just had this feeling like he wanted to leave, like something was wrong and he didn't want to be there anymore. So he looks at the woman and he's like, listen, I think I'm gonna go home. I'm really tired. And she's like, can you please stay? It's been so long since I've had somebody over since my separation and I'm having a really good time. So he does agree, but he's like, can I please take a shower because I haven't showered all day and I have clothes in my truck? And she's like, yeah, of course. So he goes and gets the clothes out of his truck and she takes him upstairs to where the shower is and he starts to shower. Well, he's in the shower for not even 5 minutes when he hears this huge commotion going downstairs, and then he hears somebody run up the stairs really quickly. His lady friend then opens the door a little bit and says, I need you to come downstairs right now. At this point, he's like, okay, and he continues to shower. And his initial thought was, how big is this bug? Well, not even 30 seconds pass, and he hears her running up the stairs, and she comes back in, and this time she opens the door and she swings open the shower curtain and she says, I need you downstairs now. And she's in tears. She literally stayed in the bathroom with him as he gets dressed, and then they walk down the stairs, and as he's walking down the stairs, he sees the little girl standing in the middle of the room just crying. So he comes down the stairs and he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, you don't see them? They're attacking me. He walks over to her and he can clearly see scratches all over her arms, and the energy of the house is just bad. Everything inside of him is just saying, this is wrong, something is wrong. So he grabs her by the hand and he leads her over to the couch and he has her sit down. As he's sitting there with her, he watches as this little girl's head gets yanked back to the couch cushion. When this happened, both her and her mom just started screaming, and he was in shock. He was terrified. He said there's a big difference between somebody throwing their head back and somebody getting their head yanked by their hair. He said this little girl's head was yanked by her hair. Whatever this thing was, had her by the hair and was holding her head back like this, just holding it. Finally, it lets go and her head just comes flying forward. She starts crying and he just starts praying. He starts saying the Lord's Prayer. As soon as he starts praying, the little girl looks at him and goes, please stop saying that. They don't like it when you say that. Now this chilled him to the bone, but after she said that, her mom walked towards her and she lunges at her mom and tries to attack her. He's still holding the girl's hand as her mom is trying to come towards her, and he just screams, stay back! He then tells her mom to go grab the phone because he needs to call one of his friends who is an empath, I guess. So he's still sitting on the couch with this little girl holding her hand when he finally gets this empath on the phone by video chat. So he starts telling her what's going on and she asks to talk to the daughter. So he hands the phone to the daughter and the daughter is looking down at the phone and she just looks at it and she randomly just starts giggling, this weird giggle. The empath is like, what's so funny? And the little girl doesn't answer. So Jay asks the same thing, and this little girl lifts her head up and he says he swears on his soul that he saw whatever evil was in her in that moment. Her eyes were fully black and even her facial bone structure was different. At this point, she whips her head to her mom and then lunges at her again. again. At this point, he tells her mom to go outside. At this point, the empath is like, did she do anything unusual today? Or did she come in contact with anything new? That's when it hits him, the watch. So she's like, take it off her right now and throw it out. So he takes the watch off of the little girl. And at this point, the little girl is sitting back down on the couch and her face is pointing downwards. And after a couple minutes, she looks up at him and her face is completely normal. And she goes, where's mom? So he just looks at her and he says, your mom is outside. She's going to be right back. And she just looks at him completely normal and says, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed now. She walks upstairs. She goes, flops on her bed and instantly falls asleep. He learned later that entities feed off our energy and that little girl was drained. So he ends up staying the night. And while they're in bed, they're talking about what just happened, her mom and him. And she swears to him that she has no mental illness whatsoever, no history of it at all. And he believes her based off of what he just saw. Now you may think it ends there. It does not. The next morning they get up and they get ready for work/school, and after he's done getting ready, he goes around the house and he says a protection prayer and he pours salt around the perimeter of the house because his empath friend told him to. He pours it on the windows and the ledges. That day he's thinking about what happened all day at work and he's trying to make sense of it. Well, later on in the day, she calls him and she's like, can you please come over and walk me inside of my house? I'm scared to enter the house. So they get inside the house and every single place that he had laid the salt, there were hundreds, if not thousands of dead flies. It was impossible for there to be that many flies that time of year, and she did not have those flies there the night before. Well, they later got the house blessed and they started going to church, but her daughter will not talk about that night at all. And the little amount that she can get from her daughter, she says it's very blurry. Her mom ended up picking up that watch and throwing it outside in the dumpster. He went on to say that this situation changed him and that he knows that he experienced real evil. And he's not sure if that watch belonged to like an evil person, or if that is why that woman wanted all of those belongings out of the house, or if something was already attached to that little girl and was already in the house. But whatever it was, he feels that he helped that night by standing up and using prayer as a weapon. What do you guys think about that story? One thing that I think is really weird is that little girl already had that drawn on her wrist, almost like it was like meant to happen. And he finds a watch in a drawer that's a Gucci watch. It seems weird. It seems like coordinated, like demonically or something. My only question is, did the woman that owned the house that he was moving for know what she was doing when she said, you can keep that stuff? Because if that is the case, she is an evil person. I hope she didn't, but something inside me tells me that she did. Please drop all your thoughts, suggestions, and comments down below. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if you guys think that this little girl was possessed, or if you think it was the watch, or do you think she was already susceptible to this type of thing and maybe it was going on and the woman just didn't tell him? Like, what do you think happened here? Drop it all below. He would like to know, I'm sure, and I would like to know. But we're running out of time, so I'm gonna do my favorite part now, which is the shout outs. The first shout out is going to Kel Lorenz, her sister, and her cousin. All three of you. The shout out is for all three of you. Thank you so much. I appreciated your comment. First of all, it was so sweet. Thank you so much for being so supportive, and thank you for your kind words. It means so much to me. I appreciate you sending me your story, and I'm so glad that you loved it. I appreciate you watching my videos and commenting and pushing them out. It means more than you could possibly know to have that type of support. So I just wanted to thank you and tell you that I love you all. My next shout out is going to Flowers Girl 2213. You're so sweet. You left such a nice comment. I appreciate you so much. That was so sweet. You made my day with that comment. Thank you for commenting and pushing my video out. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for loving my videos. I wouldn't have this page without people like you. So your support means the world to me, and I hope that you know that. So thank you so much. I love you, girl. And with that being said, my name is Kaisa, and I tell true scary stories on here every single night that you guys submit to me. So if you're into that, hit that follow button. And I just need you to do 3 things for me. Keep sending me your scary stories. I love long ones. As much detail as possible, you guys. Be descriptive. I'll take short ones too, but I really like long ones. The second one is stay safe. And what's the third one? Say it with me. Have a spooky night. Love you guys so much. See you in the next one. Spooky kisses and haunted hugs.